Over the years, I've seen a lot about Etsy advice floating around Facebook, the Etsy forums, and most notably, right here on YouTube. And unfortunately, much of it is either outdated, presented incorrectly, or it seems to just be made up. Which is super scary because a lot of these tips can actually hurt your shop more than it helps. So today, we're counting down 13 of the worst pieces of Etsy advice that sellers still believe, and what you should be doing instead. For those who are new here, my name is Starla, founder of the Handmade Alpha Academy for Etsy sellers and manager at eRank.com, Etsy's most popular SEO tool. And since you already know why you're here, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Number 13, renew your listings every single day for a boost. This piece of advice has been circulating around the interwebs for more than a decade, and at one point, it kinda worked. Years ago, paying the 20 cents for daily listing renewals was an easy way to pop back up to the top of search, since Etsy gives new or renewed listings a slight boost. But as with all things gamey in nature, Etsy quickly caught on. Etsy's algorithm is smarter than it once was, so renewing every day without making consistent sales can actually hurt your ranking. Because when Etsy sees a listing that keeps getting renewed but never sells, it assumes that shoppers aren't interested, and that listing gradually falls lower and lower in search, which obviously isn't what anyone wants. Number 12, type your keywords into the Etsy search bar to see your rank. This is one that I can't believe sellers still do, because it's been a long time since this method of rank checking worked. Like over 8 years. This is because Etsy search results are now personalized per person. Essentially, this means that every shopper sees different products depending on their browsing history, location, and buying habits. And no, logging out, going incognito, or even using a VPN won't remove that personalization. However, there is still a way to check your rank that most sellers don't know about. To see your true organic rank stripped of personalization, the eRank rank checker can show you your average placement directly from Etsy's API. This is the only accurate way to see where you truly stand in search, and it's super helpful for getting an idea of what the average shopper sees in search. Number 11, listing videos help you rank higher. Now, obviously, listing videos are great for shoppers. They help people visualize your product and understand its size, texture, or uses. But when it comes to search ranking, listing videos don't currently make a difference. They do improve the customer experience, though, which might improve conversion and thus build your listing quality scores, which in turn will positively affect your search ranking. But just having videos does not automatically give you any Etsy search brownie points. Number 10, like ladders help visibility. Okay, we've all seen them in Facebook groups. You know, those giant threads where everyone favorites each other's listings to try to trick Etsy's algorithm and boost everyone up. Unfortunately, as you've probably already guessed, Etsy doesn't reward this behavior. Favorites are only meaningful when they come organically through search and are tied directly to a keyword query. For example, if I search for a cat mug and I click on your cat mug listing, and then I favorite that listing, this tells Etsy that they were correct in assuming that people looking for cat mugs might like your specific listing. But external favorites don't count towards visibility because it'd be way too easy for you to send a bunch of people to favorite your listing for the sake of getting a boost. And Etsy doesn't reward gaming behavior. Number 9, keyword stuffing your description improves search rank. When it comes to query matching, or the keyword matching phase, Etsy only reads your title, tags, and attributes. Descriptions, on the other hand, are used for additional context, which helps Etsy during the personalization process, as in helping Etsy understand the specific type of shopper who they should show your listings to. Your description's purpose is to sell the product and to help the buyer picture themselves owning it. So don't fill it with random keywords. Don't copy and paste your whole title down into the top of your descriptions. strategy that hasn't been relevant in over 8 years. Keyword stuffing doesn't make your listings perform better. It just makes it harder for human shoppers to read and understand. Number 8, don't repeat keywords across multiple listings or you'll compete with yourself. This one couldn't be further from the truth. And yet I still see gurus teaching it. Baby, Pookie, honey, stop. You cannot compete with yourself on Etsy. It's just not possible at all. In fact, repeating strong, relevant keywords helps Etsy understand what your shop is about. If someone searches for sterling silver birthstone necklace and you have several listings that fit that description, you want as many of them as possible to appear in that search. Consistency tells Etsy that you're an authority in your niche, not a competitor to yourself. So don't be afraid to use your very best keywords across multiple listings if they perfectly fit the item that you're selling. Number 7, change your SEO frequently to keep the algorithm fresh. I don't even know what keeping the algorithm fresh means. Are we talking about loaves of bread? When you first publish a listing, Etsy gives it a small boost in search while they study how shoppers interact with it. And then, over a period of anywhere between 60 to even 90 days, Etsy decides where to place your listing and the demographics who should see it, based on who is most likely to buy it. And this could happen right away if you get a lot of positive shopper engagement right away during that boosted window. Or it could take longer if Etsy needs a little more time and data to figure out exactly who your item should be shown to. Now, a lot of people have been asking me about the 60 to 90 day window recently, but it's not a special ticking clock that awards rank on a certain day. It's just an average, completely dependent on how that item performs during that boosted window. However, if you constantly change your tags and titles, Etsy never gets enough data to make that decision because you're constantly changing up what you want to be known for. So, as I've been saying for years, it's best to give each listing time to grow before making adjustments. Ideally, 60 to 90 days. Number 6, eRank grades will help you measure SEO success. This one has been such a pain over the years that we even tried to get rid of grades entirely a few years ago, and sellers rioted. So we brought them back and have since been working to educate sellers on what exactly your eRank listing grades mean. The most important thing that sellers miss is that grades aren't an indicator of keyword strength. They're simply a checklist that tells you whether your listing follows Etsy's best practices. You can have a good grade and 0 traffic. These grades are super useful when building new listings or working with listings that aren't selling, especially if you don't know why. But never change a listing that's already performing well just to improve a grade. Number 5, you need 100 listings to succeed on Etsy. Anyone who says that there's a specific number of listings to reach before you can begin making sales, fight me on the playground, after school, kindergarten style. Quantity does not guarantee visibility. What matters is quality and demand. I see sellers all the time who say, I've added a listing a day for the last 100 days and still don't have any sales. Then I look at their shop and it's a collection of the laziest, barely thrown together AI-generated nonsensical slop or single words with basic fonts slapped onto a bunch of POD shirts utilizing stock mock-ups. I always tell my students that adding tons of listings without strategy is like buying more lottery tickets. Technically, more lottery tickets could mean more chances to win, but you're also spending time and money on those lottery tickets while not really increasing your odds. It's far better to have 10 well-optimized listings that convert than 100 that never get seen. Number 4, Etsy rewards sellers who list new items daily. We kind of touched on this in our last point, but I want to expand a bit further because I see this advice a lot. When it comes to activity, Etsy wants shops that are engaged, not just shops who tinker for the sake of making updates in an effort to appease an algorithmic god. Simple shop maintenance like updating your underperforming listings, responding to messages, or tweaking outdated photos all count as activity. Focus on meaningful engagement, not just daily product uploads. Number 3, focus only on trending or viral products. For the most part, Etsy isn't a trend-driven platform like TikTok. It's a search-based marketplace built around evergreen keywords. And chasing every single viral product just confuses your branding and your audience. Trends can be great if they fit naturally within your niche. For example, if you create kids' clothing and notice that capybaras are trending, which they are, by the way, then it would totally make sense to create kids' shirts with capybaras on them. But if you're constantly jumping on whatever's popular that week, Etsy will struggle to understand who your ideal target customer is. So be mindful of trends that fit your aesthetic, but don't chase trends that conflict with your niche. Number 2, reuse the listings of a previous bestseller to maintain its ranking. This one sounds clever, but unfortunately, it can backfire badly. As you probably already know, when a listing performs well, it builds a listing quality score based on that exact product sales, reviews, and interactions. Which means that if you replace it with a new product, your customers might click on their favorites only to find a completely different item, which looks a lot like bait and switch. Hence why Etsy doesn't want us to do this. So when listing new items, always create a fresh listing, even if you need to make a copy of an existing listing to save time on details that are the same across all items in your shop, such as details in your descriptions. Next up, we have mistake number 1, the big kablooey. The thing that can literally destroy your shop overnight, and the one that sellers have been falling victim to more than ever this season, all because of an Etsy update that made them believe they should be doing it. Yeah, it's pretty rough. But before we jump into the last mistake, I do want to quickly mention that I'll be reopening my Etsy coaching program starting on December 1st, but only for 10 days. I've been teaching my entire life, from preschools to high schools and even colleges. Catering to different learning styles is something that I take pride in, which is why, as someone who loves to teach, I've spent the last 7 years doing so through my own online classroom, allowing me to serve small business owners like you all across the world. The Handmade Alpha Academy is my 9-module training program that teaches sellers how to build, market, and grow dominant brands on Etsy step by step. In the Handmade Alpha Academy, we focus on defining your ideal target customer and effectively targeting them through proven psychological triggers. In fact, we're currently the only Etsy course in the world built on a foundation of neuromarketing, which is why we have over 2,000 students, many of whom run their businesses full-time. Not to mention, I give you tons of incentives to ensure that you have everything that you need to start your journey, including 1 year of eRank Pro for your SEO research, annual access to our Alpha Holiday Bootcamp to game up for Q4 each year, and my favorite, the Product Photography Essentials Workshop by expert photography coach Christina Nicole. I know that taking a leap of faith is hard. This industry is full of sketchy coaches and false promises, which is exactly why HAA includes a 30-day, 0 questions asked money-back guarantee. If you get inside and don't absolutely love the program, we'll refund you in full. Limited registration only takes place from December 1st through December 10th. So if this sounds like something that you may be interested in checking out, be sure to visit the link up here or down below in the video description to check out our success stories and the class curriculum. All right, the final and worst piece of Etsy advice I've ever heard. Number 1, changing all of your titles or tags at once. This one has destroyed more shops than anything else, and it especially sucks because Etsy has literally been telling us to do it. But we'll get into that in just a second. Remember that I said Etsy learns what your listings are all about, as well as who should see them in search based on data that they collect? When you overhaul every listing at the same time, you wipe out everything Etsy was once ranking you for. It's a bit like retraining Etsy, which can take time, which is why it may seem like your traffic disappears overnight. And as of Etsy's most recent updates to title best practices, they literally created a tool that does this for you, all in one sweep, which is fine when it comes to listings that aren't selling, but When it comes to products that are already ranking well and that Etsy's identified an ideal target audience for, these listings need to be left alone. Plus, it's never a good idea to make bulk updates. If you make changes to one of your listings and those changes don't work, at least it was just one. But if you go in and update all of your listings at once, you've essentially just tanked everything in your shop. Changes to your tags and titles are necessary sometimes, but when you need to make changes, test them on one listing at a time. Monitor your results, collect data, and adjust gradually across other listings. That's how real SEO works, with patience and analysis, not panicked edits. Despite what the clickbaity video titles and gurus may lead some to believe, success on Etsy doesn't come from tricks or shortcuts. It comes from understanding how the platform works, staying consistent, and giving your listings time to build momentum. Until next time, Pookie.